Hello and welcome to 3Q. In this episode, I'll be talking with Mark Lee, CEO of Communicorp UK, who own and operate a number of radio stations. Mark's business is also a seed investor, having taken positions in audio streaming businesses and table reservations. So it'll be very interesting to hear his views on how the coronavirus pandemic has affected the investment industry. Hello, Mark, and thank you for appearing on the programme.
Okay, very welcome. It's good to see you, David.
Good to see you too. The first question is, how do you think the pandemic has affected tech businesses, especially those creating audio content and taking advantage of new technologies like, for example, smart speakers?
Yeah, well, I guess, first of all, for audio, particularly during lockdown, it's been a very good time. I mean, we own a group of radio stations, and we've seen our audiences increase by around 25% whilst people have been working from home. And part of that is because people have got more time whilst they've been at home, and you've got a number of staff across the UK on furlough. But also, people are looking for entertainment experiences. So whereas people would have previously been, participating or going to see sport, they might have been heading out to the pub or to the restaurant, so they've had to fill time and they've looked for new entertainment experiences. And, that has meant that, podcasting and, those other content which we're producing has provided, an opportunity for them. And also we've seen that grow. So I think, that would probably be the first thing, is that audio's been growing. I think, with regard to smart speakers, so the sort of Amazon Alexa, Google Home, I think what we've been seeing is a pretty significant trend of people replacing home. The kitchen radio is now an Alexa speaker. And so the distribution across both UK and, in many parts of the world, the growth in that has been dramatic. And so we've seen a continuous increase in the number of people, if I'm thinking about radio, listening to radio via streaming platform. And it's really smart speakers that have accessed that. So now I think with regard to that technology, the key difference with a smart speaker is that you can interact with it, and we can serve up audio on request. If it's a commercial piece of audio, then people can respond to that call to action or that request. So it becomes a much more interesting playing field. So if I was thinking about our investments in particular, and the two tech companies we're invested in, so BeatStream Box Office is designed. It's a new technology which allows artists and promoters to sell tickets to a live audio stream. So originally, we designed this so that where you've got sold out live gigs, then promoters and artists could sell on to an audience who could listen at home. So you could be at home with your mates, listening to a live concert on a Friday night. And, for people who follow bands around the world, or for people who've got a young family, so they can't actually get to the gigs of the artists that they love, this was a great way of both serving the consumers, but also monetizing that and creating, almost an unlimited global audience for the artists that take part. Well, clearly, as we've gone through the COVID-19 crisis, then we're now seeing, we saw initially a lot of live streams which were free, but the reality is musicians need to make a living. And the way forward looks really difficult. So either they're going to need to deliver behind closed doors, live music events, or they're going to be working in venues, which is probably the more likely, which have just got limited capacity. So where you had 16,000 capacity before, it might be 3,000 because of the social distancing that you need to give. So what BeatStream, the market has moved right into our favour, really, because we're able now to, once they're sold out on their limited capacity, then artists and promoters can now sell tickets to listen live to that concert. we just deliver and specialize in audio rather than doing video, so it's not intrusive to that live event, but also it's really easily accessible for somebody to listen to the whole gig rather than putting on their own music or whatever they might be doing, and they're listening to a live event, and we can reach live. And we've learned some new tricks to run sort of Twitter and chat along with the concert, so that you're trying to get that live experience, even though you're listening to it through the speaker and you're not actually at the event. So I think, for BeatStream, that new technology, the market has moved in our favor. And, as soon as we can break that, then, I think the penetration into the market will be there for when you return to sort of more normal conditions. Think about, VoiceWorks Sport is another investment that we've got. So, and that's new technology which allows major sport to create and distribute sport audio at scale on any platform, and it's all human voice audio. And clearly, once you've got it into in there, then that can be accessed anywhere in the world. And you've got to remember that those smart assistant technologies isn't just about the speaker. The Google Assistant can be accessed on any Android phone, as can the Amazon Alexa. So every phone really is a listening platform for us, and a smart speaker. So really, what's happened within the market, very challenging within sport, and so with the Premier League clubs, they're now much more open. Well, actually, cricket, we've had much more advanced conversations with Premier League football, and also some of the minor sports as well, where they can't get audiences live to the live events. So they're looking for, it's really important for them to retain really strong engagement with the clubs or with the activities. So audio is an untapped area for many of them. And so really that's providing them with an opportunity to engage with fans, but also they're desperate to find new commercial opportunities for it. And so if they can access an audio audience, which they hitherto haven't just taken advantage of, then it's creating another commercial platform for them. So we produce a daily briefing on every single Premier League club. That's delivered via all smart speakers, but also it'll be there up to be searched when Google News is released later this year. You can literally ask for news stories around those Premier League clubs, and you'll get a human voice response to that. So it's creating a whole new opportunity for sport. And what I would say is, the pandemic has really just accelerated the need to look beyond what you've always been doing. So it's forcing sport to innovate the way they behave, in the same way that artists, musicians, promoters are having to look for new ways. So it's playing in our favor, certainly from the tech opportunities, and I would guess that what we've experienced will be very similar to other tech companies.
It's good to see a corporate like yourself making seed investments. I can understand the strategy behind it. Do you see any further opportunities coming along your direction in the audio space?
Well, I think we certainly would. I mean, all the investments that we've made have been ones where we believe that we could add very significant value. And the audio investments are pretty obvious. I mean, the interesting, audio has been incredibly resilient as a medium. If you just look at radio, and radio in the UK still reaches pretty much 90% the UK population. And, you've still got similar amounts of about 1 billion hours a week of people in the UK listening to radio. So it's not suffered the same fate as many other traditional media have. And that's because of the nature of radio. You can do other things whilst you're listening to it, plus it's engaging, it's great for music discovery, but also speech stations now, you're seeing big innovations, in radio. So audio as a medium, and it's probably using radio examples because really they're high-profile examples which you can see. Times Radio was launched recently. You've had Talk Radio, you've had Virgin Radio. So many new innovations over the last 2 years within what would be seen to be a traditional media. Well, you now add on to that the technology opportunity that you've got. So the things which now smart audio provides you. So you've got audio on demand. If we just look at podcast listening, now on a weekly basis, you've got 12 million people in the UK listening to podcasts. The rise and the growth is phenomenal. Podcasting revenue in the US now exceeds all revenue that goes into commercial radio in the UK. So it's not only interesting, from a consumer content perspective, it's also interesting from through the commercial opportunities which it creates. And one of the things that I guess as we've been evolving our thinking around what we can do here, the very obvious thing is, okay, how do we develop content? And with 30 years working in the radio industry, we know how to develop audiences through audio. So we can bring that to that new, this new world really. But more importantly, there are opportunities within the technology. So one of the things we developed through VoiceWorks is a content management system for audio. So pretty much things like your website, you can take content in, and then you can start to distribute it across platforms. So we could take, for example, Sport Club audio content from player interviews, the manager press briefing, through its full match commentary. All of that audio goes into the CMS, and then we can put that out onto any platform and service it through news. We can put it through their own digital channels, the website or app or whatever it might be, but also every single smart speaker device that there is. We can provide translations through that technology into multiple languages. So if they're looking to get to or increase their penetration globally, then they can achieve that. So I think, yes, in terms of future opportunities within audio, I think what we've seen so far is, we're at the front end of that market, but I can certainly see, what we've seen in the last 12 months is the technology can go much further to provide superb content for people in every single part of the world, and we can use this in a lot of ways. I mean, we picked up sport, we picked up some areas of entertainment, but you can see that there are lots more opportunities for us to exploit this.
It's good to see you're as excited about tech as I am. How do you think tech can help the UK economy emerge from the pandemic?
Yeah, well, I think one of the observations from our own business, we work with around 1,000 other businesses, a mix of national brands to a lot of SMEs we work with. And also, we look closely at consumer behaviour. We've got, listeners, we've got over 3 million listeners to our radio station. So we're looking very closely in order to decide on our content moving forward. We're looking very closely at, consumer behaviour within that. And I think what's happened through this pandemic period is really you've had this fast forward of things which were probably going to take 5 to 10 years. We were talking just before this about, video conferencing, also standards of production that you might expect from a video. The whole thing is, fast forwarded. So the way people are using remote working, the way people are paying for things using their cash is transition. So these were things which were probably going to happen over a long period of time, and they've had their fast forward button placed. We see e-commerce now. That it's penetrated probably demographics which we're going to be much more reluctant. So, older people were probably trading less, through e-commerce, and we're now seeing they've picked that up. So I think the big opportunity, I think what technology is doing and will do, because the UK has taken a giant step forward in terms of its thinking, it's now open-minded to new ways of working. It's open-minded to new ways of shopping. It's open-minded to new ways of doing things. And there's lots of sort of developing technology, but also future technology, which is going to facilitate that. And I think, it enables us to create a new type of economy for the UK, and which not only is a different way of working, but also can hold different values for people, which I think, I think the UK population is also looking for. And I think, technology can facilitate so much, not only change for good, but it can also create the sort of value that we probably need in order to improve our productivity scores, in order to improve the standard of living which so many people have. Let's start living, as we like to in the 2020s. And I think, technology really has the opportunity now to support the open mind which is there across the nation, because we've all been challenged. We've opened our minds. We're looking for new ways of doing things, and given the debt, we're probably going to have to do things differently.
Well, there's some great insightful comments there, Mark. It's absolutely right. We believe that tech will be a driver of the UK's recovery from this pandemic. But thank you very much for appearing on 3Q today. It was great to talk with you. Thank you very much.
Talk with you. Yeah. Take care, David.